Risk factors tell us helpful information about which factors can lead to a greater likelihood or risk of developing into negative health outcomes. So basically, it tells us how our lifestyles, our habits, activities, etc. can make us more or less vulnerable to developing certain kinds of diseases or infections. Generally, the greater the degree of risk, the more likely we are to develop a disease or infection. So, for example, the more someone smokes, the more likely they are of developing lung cancer or other such diseases.
So, for example, when we take a look at Indonesia, we see that 8% of adolescent boys engage in heavy episodic drinking, also known as binge drinking, and 23% engage in tobacco use. That's a concerning amount. When we take a look at physical activity, we see that 87% of adolescent girls and 85% of boys have insufficient physical activity. When looking at these behavioral risk factors along with the nutritional risk factors in the country, we see an increasing trend of obesity and overweightness, with 15% boys and 13% girls being overweight. This information can be powerful as it can help us identify areas that need our attention the most to reduce our vulnerability to developing different disease outcomes. Once we identify them, we can then act upon them and advance positive action to overcome the risk factors.